Hey guys, so today I want to go over my guitar history. So basically all the guitars I've owned in the past and my current guitars as well. And this is something I just thought I want to do just for something interesting. So if you guys are interested in the history of my guitars and what I owned before and learning about the details, then you can stay tuned for this video. But yeah, if you're not interested, feel free to tune away. But it's just going to be talking about what I owned before. Actually, I owned a lot more guitars than I expected when I went through this list. So anyways, just give you a bit of background. So I started playing guitar when I was about 15 years old. Started in, I think, 2004 was when I started playing guitar. And yeah, when I first started, my first guitar was a Behringer. So Behringer is a German company that makes most of their products in China, and they're known for making some pretty affordable stuff. So they're known for just very cheap, but very good value musical equipment. I still own a Behringer product, which is my Behringer mixer. So it's just in general, Behringer makes a lot of like musical equipment, like amplifiers, amplifiers, mixers, guitars, guitar pedals. They're especially known for their guitar pedals. Like they're known for being like pretty nice exact reproductions of like more expensive pedals from Ibanez and Boss, but at a very cheap price. So I think Behringer is just known as a company that provides a lot of good value stuff. That's what I started out with. I think my parents bought me this Behringer starter pack, which was like a Stratocaster copy, and like this 15-watt solid-state practice amp. It was like $100 or something like that, super cheap. But that's what I started out with. I started out on a Stratocaster. You know, a lot of people do. That's very common. But I think for me, it's interesting because I actually started out on electric guitar. I think it's because when I started out, I didn't think very much about. I played electric guitar and acoustic guitar, right? At I think I was in my high school classes, my music class. But what I didn't like about acoustic guitar was that it was hard to play. Like the strings would like hurt my fingers and stuff. Like because acoustic guitar strings are just they're harder to play, they're harder to bend. And electric guitar strings are easier, I think, especially if you get the light or extra light guitar strings. So I think that's why I gravitated towards electric guitars, because to me it's like, oh, electric guitar strings are much easier to play, and you can make any kind of sound come out of the amp, even acoustic sounds, if you use acoustic simulators. So yeah, to me, I just like the tone of electric guitar more. Like, I wasn't that interested in acoustic guitar when I started. Like, most people start out on acoustic guitar, but for me, I started out on electric guitar. So I guess that's what's different about my my beginner guitar story. Is I started out with electric guitar, not on acoustic. I just liked the tone of electric guitar more, and I liked that it was easier to play. So yeah, I had that Behringer Strat for I think about maybe 1.5 years. Because what ended up happening was, you know, of course I wanted to get more guitars to try out different tones and stuff. And the Behringer guitar kind of, I think I repurposed it later on. What I tried to do is I tried to spray paint it, and I tried to like, what did I use? It wasn't nail polish, but it was like some kind of paint tool. But I remember I tried to paint it like Jimi Hendrix's Monterey Strat, because this was around the time where John Mayer like basically brought out and I was a huge Hendrix fan back then, of course, huge John Mayer fan and a huge Hendrix fan. But later on, I tried to refinish this guitar because it was like a cheap guitar anyways. I tried to like paint over it, and I tried to like spray paint it, you know, put lacquer and stuff, and I tried to like draw all these like nice designs and stuff on it to make it look like Jimi Hendrix's Monterey Strat. Because as a huge John Mayer and Jimi Hendrix fan, I really like that Monterey Strat guitar, and which those guys played. So yeah, but what happened was I didn't do like I'm not a very good like artist, you know. So like, and plus I was like 16, 17 at the time, so I didn't really know how to like finish guitars very well. So like I think I like spray painted it and stuff, and like I put like lacquer and stuff, but it wasn't done very well. So it was like a kind of a poor job, right? So I mean, I guess I don't have any pictures, but I ended up selling that one on eBay. It was just like I kind of messed it up. I tried to make it look like the Monterey Strat, but didn't do a very good job of it, and I ended up having to sell it on eBay. So that's what happened to that guitar. I think I sold it around like 2006. And then my second guitar, I think I got it maybe a few months after the Behringer, was a Les Paul copy, and this was the one I mostly brought to music class or guitar class actually to play. And yeah, this is just a copy of a Gibson Les Paul, and I think this would be the only time I've owned a Gibson Les Paul style guitar. And yeah, I mean, I liked it. It's just it was like Chinese. I think it was a Chinese knockoff type guitar, and yeah, I mean, to me, I actually didn't like playing Les Pauls very much. I think that's why I never owned a Les Paul after this. I mean, it wasn't. I think it was a decent sounding guitar for what it was. It wasn't very expensive. I forget what I paid for it, but yeah, you can see in the picture, I have the Les Paul and the Behringer together side by side. Like, yeah, the Les Paul guitar is it was just okay. I mean, obviously it was like a Chinese copy, and I think I used it with this portable battery amp, like this one of those small Marshall amps that was battery powered, and I brought it to class because I really didn't like playing acoustic. So I just brought it to guitar class with like a strap-on battery powered guitar amp on my hip, and that's what I played in class. And yeah, there's this other guy, my classmate. I remember he had an actual Gibson SG, and I remember being so envious because he was like, "Wow, you have an actual Gibson." And I had like this, cheap Chinese copy or whatever. But whatever. I think that guitar was fine for what it is, and I think I owned it for like maybe a year or so. And next guitar, I think I don't have very many memories of this guitar, but it was a Flying V copy. It was like a Gibson Flying V copy. It's another knockoff Chinese brand or something like that. I don't actually remember playing this one very much. I think I might have bought it just for fun because I liked the way, like, I thought, oh, Flying V looks cool, I want to buy a copy. So I have this purple Flying V copy, and you can see, like, I was very influenced by Stevie Ray Vaughan back then because I had actually a Jimi Hendrix type of hat, and I had a Stevie Ray Vaughan type of hat back then because, yeah, I was, those were two of the guys I really liked, Stevie Ray Vaughan and Jimi Hendrix. As a starting electric guitar player, of course, there's the guitar idols about, right? So I remember, like, when I was playing my coffee house back then in high school, Jimi Hendrix would try to, like, have these, like, really fancy outfits whenever he played. So I tried to copy that. What I did is, I think I bought, like, a scarf or something like that, and I kind of, like, ripped up the scarf, and I put, like, some purple. It's like purple because Jimi Hendrix likes purple, right? So I like ripped up the scarf, and I put some of it on my arms and some of it like on my like ankles and stuff. And then when I played it, just I try to like get the scarf going and just like try to make it look cooler, right? Just try to be like Hendrix. And of course I wore like the Hendrix hat with the rings and stuff. Like, yeah, I mean, I was a huge like Hendrix wannabe guy back then. Yeah, and that's of course when I was playing back then. I try to be like Hendrix, I try to like play behind my back with my teeth, and then with Stevie Ray Vaughan, like behind my back as well, between the legs, like, yeah, basically Hendrix and Stevie Ray Vaughan were like two of my huge idols back then. So I try to really copy them. So I guess that's why you see me wearing the Stevie Ray Vaughan hat or a Hendrix hat actually. So yeah, I had both Hendrix hat and a Stevie Ray Vaughan hat, and try to really be like Hendrix and Stevie Ray Vaughan and kind of like play like that and like show off, look cool. So basically, yeah, that was like 2006 and when I was like 18. So I remember like first year university, there was a talent show. I signed up for the talent show, and what I did was I just played Voodoo Child, and then I just started playing the guitar behind my back with my teeth, and then everyone was like, what the heck is going on? Who is this guy? No backing tracks, or anything. No drummer, no backing tracks, just playing by myself. That's what I did at the coffee house as well. It was just me playing by myself, doing all this crazy stuff, and then people were like, what? Who is this guy? What is he doing? And just, really, I was just a huge Hendrix wannabe back then. Yeah. So yeah, all the flashy show-off stuff, that's what I did back then. Also 2005, 2006, I had the Squier Stratocaster left-handed version. It was a standard, I think it was a Squier standard Stratocaster, but a left-handed version. The reason why I bought the left-handed version, even though I'm right-handed, is because of Hendrix, right? Because Hendrix played his guitar like upside down. He basically took a right-handed guitar and strung it upside down because he was a lefty. I wanted to kind of get the same stuff, get the Hendrix sound, so I took a left-handed Stratocaster because I'm a right-handed player, right? So I tried to get his sound by doing the same thing. And yeah, I mean, ended up being kind of hard to play because Stratocasters are kind of like asymmetrical, right? So it's kind of hard to play to reach the upper frets, I think I had the guitar for about a year or so before I sold it. But yeah, that was, again, this is my Hendrix phase. So I was really trying to be like Jimi Hendrix back then. I really idolized him, so I tried to get his sound. And you know, these days you can find Hendrix Strats. You can find even the Monterey Strat. You can find Jimi Hendrix Strat, like the Monterey Strat, like kind of Fender versions of it, and you can find pickups that have the reverse slant to try to like get Hendrix's tone better. But yeah, back then, like there wasn't that many Hendrix reproduction Strats back then. The ones there were custom shops, so they were super expensive. So yeah, I didn't. There wasn't like a really affordable Hendrix Strat back then, so that's why I had to just take a Squire Strat and flip it in order to try to get that Hendrix sound. So yeah, those were my guitars during high school. So. Okay, the final guitar in high school times, I would say, I got it right at the end of high school times, was the G&L Tribute S500, which is a guitar I used throughout university as well. So the G&L Tribute S500, G&L, by the way, is a great company. I still have a G&L guitar today. But Tribute is their lower end series, and the S500 is a really cool series because they have an extra switch that will enable like more combinations of the pickups than compared to a standard Strat. So I think that's what the S500 did. First of all, I had these magnetic field design pickups, which are a little bit of higher output than standard Strat pickups, and then they had an extra pickup switch to enable more combinations. And maple neck, you know, sunburst finish. So overall, looked pretty nice. But I think at the time, I really wanted a Fender, right? Because I was really, it's like, oh, all my guitar heroes played Fender. You know, Hendrix, Stevie Ray Vaughan, John Mayer, they all played Fender. So I really wanted a Fender back then. I guess I didn't appreciate G&L as much as now. G&L was a great brand. I mean, Tribute is actually a really great series of guitars, better than the Mexican Fenders actually. But I guess I didn't appreciate them that much at the time. So yeah, I mean, I used this guitar for a while, a few years actually. I think until like maybe the last year or last year at university I used it, maybe 2010. So I used this from maybe 2006 until 2010-ish. So quite a while I had it until I got my Fender Stratocaster. But yeah, I think G&L was it's a great guitar. It was a great sounding guitar. I think I modified it later. I put in these Tone Rider Pure Vintage pickups inside of it, and those worked pretty well, I think for a few years, and then eventually I just wanted to get a Fender, right? So I eventually just went to a Fender Strat. And yeah, I ended up playing this guitar in the first band I was in university. So yeah, I do have a video of us rehearsing together, and I am playing the G&L Tribute S500 here, and it was a great guitar for the time. And I think around 2009, I got the Ovation Applause Balladeer. That was my first acoustic guitar. So like I said, I wasn't a huge fan of just acoustic guitars in general, but I think eventually I just kind of gave in and bought an acoustic guitar, because there are some songs that just sound a lot better on acoustic, right? Especially pop songs. So I've been playing rock songs when I was starting out, like with Hendrix and Zeppelin and Stevie Ray Vaughan and stuff. But eventually I just, I wanted to play pop songs like Beatles and stuff. So then I just got an acoustic guitar finally in order to play some of these pop songs. And the Ovation was fine. It was a cheap Ovation. Yeah, it's a very inexpensive one, but it did its job. And yeah, I mean, I think this was the main acoustic guitar I've had for several years until I got my Martin. And I played several songs on this. I mean, you can see in my videos on my YouTube channel, right? Like I played a lot of different songs on this, a lot of Beatles songs I played on this. So it was my go-to acoustic guitar just for playing mostly pop songs and stuff like that. Just songs that didn't sound as good on an electric guitar. So it basically forced me to get an acoustic guitar, and finally, yeah, I got an acoustic so I can play those softer songs on, and some instrumental stuff like classical stuff I tried playing on it as well. So that worked out. Yeah, pretty decent acoustic guitar. Then I think in 2009 is when I got my Fender Stratocaster. So finally I got an actual, Fender, which is what I wanted for a very long time. Yeah, like I had a G&L, like I said, but at that time I guess I really wanted a Fender for the brand name. And it was a road-worn 60s Stratocaster, which is really cool because I really wanted a relic-looking guitar back then. And that's what I got. It was a Fender road-worn 60 Stratocaster with a rosewood neck. But I didn't actually like the vintage 7.25 radius on that neck. It was just, yeah, it just didn't fit my hand as well. it's maybe better for chording, but not as good for soloing. So I eventually swapped it out for a rosewood Fender American neck with a 9.5 radius. So this is a more modern radius neck, which makes it better for soloing and it's still pretty good for chording as well. So yeah, it's generally like the vintage 7.25 radius better for chording, but yeah, 9.5 still pretty good for chording and better for soloing. So it just fits my hand better, and I still have this guitar today. I've used it for a very long time. So yeah, it's I've had it since 2009, so it's been quite a while. Yeah, definitely a guitar that I've owned for a very long time. I don't think I'll ever sell it. It's just I have such sentimental attachment to this guitar because I've owned this Fender for such a long time, and it's just whenever I play it, it just feels like an old friend, you know. I think a lot of people will say that about guitars they've owned for a long time. It's just you play it, it feels instantly familiar. I played this Fender Strat for such a long time. It's been on so many YouTube videos from when I was living in Toronto, when I was living in San Francisco, and finally when I'm living in Vancouver. Yeah, it's been in so many different YouTube videos. So I just played it for such a long time. So yeah, I still have that Fender Stratocaster today. Still just I just keep it forever because it just feels such a familiar guitar, and I've owned it literally since my university days. And there was another band I was in when I was in university, and this band I think was the better one because, well, my guitar skills have improved. Around 2010, 2011-ish, me and some of my Chinese friends formed a band, and we played some John Mayer covers, actually. And it's unfortunate I don't have any pictures or video to show of this. Yeah, just for some reason I didn't think about bringing my digital camera to record us playing, so it's unfortunate. I regret not having any footage, but yeah, in that band I also used my Fender Stratocaster. So I was the lead guitar player, and yeah, the Fender Strat, because that was my main electric guitar at the time. That was my main guitar with that band as well. They actually have custom single coil pickups in it, by the way, so I forgot to mention this. My Fender Strat has a custom set of pickups wound by a guy called Aaron in Virginia, and he is owner of Rumpelstiltskin Pickups. I think he's still in business today, but he custom wound me a set of pickups back in 2010, and I've been using that set of pickups in my guitar ever since. So yeah, it has a custom set of pickups in it, reasonably low output. I didn't ask for any hot output pickups, so it's reasonably low output, just yeah, hand wound pickups, really nice sounding. And then after I moved to San Francisco in 2012, I decided to upgrade my acoustic to a Martin OMJM John Mayer signature model. So this became my main acoustic guitar until 2019, when I was forced to sell it because of what happened with my crypto losses. So yeah, after I came back to Vancouver, because of my crypto losses, I was forced to sell this guitar to make money, to pay rent and stuff. And I was unemployed back then, so basically it's what I had to do. But it's unfortunate because I really like the Martin OMJM. It's like, when I first got this in 2012, it's just, yeah, played tons of acoustic songs on this, tons of pop songs, lots of covers, right? Like, you can see on my YouTube channel, like, just basically my go-to acoustic guitar, and Ovation, I just completely forgot about the Ovation. The Martin just took over. Sounds so good. You know, I'm a huge fan of John Mayer. That's part of the reason why I got the John Mayer signature model. But yeah, I really like the angle. What's special about the John Mayer signature model is the Anglewood spruce top. So that's a little bit different compared to the Sitka spruce. Most Martins I think have Sitka spruce, but this John Mayer model has Engelmann spruce, so it's a little bit different. But I really like it. It's a really nice guitar to play. And yeah, that was my first Martin OMJM. I'm saying first because I'm going to get another one later on. So we can go through it later on. So yeah, that was my first Martin OMJM. Like I said, great acoustic guitar. I love playing it. All the acoustic tracks you've heard, basically from 2012 to 2019, I was using that guitar. Okay, so then in 2014, I decided to get my second electric guitar. At the time, I only had the Fender guitar. That was the only electric guitar I had at the time because I got rid of my G&L. So really, this was my second electric guitar at the time. Was the Gretsch White Penguin, and the Gretsch White Penguin is a really beautiful looking guitar. Still, it's just a gorgeous guitar, and I remember being kind of I really wanted a Gretsch because I think I watched the anime Mongolian Chop Squad, which is also called Beck. I really love that anime. It has a lot to do with like the guitars in it and the guy starting his own band and stuff. And one of the guitars he uses, I mean, his main guitar is a Telecaster, but the guitar he used before the Telecaster was the Gretsch White Falcon in that anime, and that really made me interested in Gretsch. And when I saw the White Falcon is just too big, right? It's really expensive, so I just decided to go for the White Penguin because it's smaller, but it's smaller than the White Falcon, and it just seems like it's more comfortable to play for me. So I got the White Penguin, and really beautiful guitar, right? The gold hardware and everything, the white finish, I still love it. Yeah, I had this guitar for I think about 4 years. I sold it in 2017 because what happened with the Gretsch White Penguin is this was my main guitar actually in Korea. I brought this guitar to Korea, and whenever you see my electric guitar videos in Korea, actually all my guitar videos are electric guitar videos in Korea. I didn't bring any acoustics there. But yeah, this was my main guitar in Korea, and I remember this is the one I played out the most. And yeah, when I bring in Korea, I was just like playing it with my Vox Mini 5 amp that I brought there. Yeah, it's a great guitar. It's just I think what I didn't like about it was I think one thing is the radius was a little bit too flat. So it's like a 12-inch radius. It's almost too flat. It makes it harder for chording. Good for soloing, but it's hard for chording. And the other thing I didn't like about it was it fell out of tune pretty easily. So, like, I think there was a problem with intonation with this guitar. Maybe because of that floating bridge. There was a floating bridge there that's really only held in place by pressure. So it's only held in place by tension on the guitar. So it's not actually attached to the body in any way. It's just held in place by the tension. I think this bridge is, yeah, it's an issue. So like, after I play this guitar for a while, like, after a while, after every song, basically after I played it would fall out of tune. Like I would have to intonate it again, tune it again, intonate it again, tune it again. So it kept falling out of tune, and eventually it made it so I didn't really want to play this guitar. So that's why you don't see the Gretsch White Penguin in as many videos, even though it's a really expensive guitar, a really nice looking guitar, but it's just not in as many videos because I just didn't like to play it when it fell out of tune so easily. So yeah, I think the problem with this guitar was the intonation and tuning problems, which is why I had to sell it. Yeah, and yeah, it's unfortunate, but I think at that time, it's also because of me building my own guitar, which I kind of preferred more over the White Penguin at that time, so that's why the White Penguin just kind of left my stable after that. Yeah, all those issues. And then 2015, when I was in Korea, I bought the Bohemian Guitars Boho Moonshine. This is a guitar I pretty much only used in Korea as a secondary guitar, and it's just a cool guitar. It's like an oil can guitar with single coil pickups, 2 single coil pickups, and I played this outside once. And I mean, it's a guitar I used for a few songs in Korea. I think I played it for a few videos when I was in Korea. But I only used this in Korea because I gave it away to my aunt when she came to visit Korea. So I never actually, yeah, this guitar I never actually brought back to San Francisco. So yeah, it basically just had it when I was in Korea, and that was it. But it's just a cool looking guitar. It's like an oil can guitar, and obviously gets a lot of attention whenever I play it. And that has a nice single coil sound, I guess. Oh, another thing about the Gretsch White Penguin I did like was the Dynasonic pickups. So I really do like the Dynasonic De Armand pickups. That was really cool. So it's a nice single coil tone that's a bit different than a P90. I think it's more, not as aggressive sounding as a P90. It's more definitely fatter than a Fender single coil, but not as aggressive sounding as a P90. But still, I like the Dynasonic pickups on it. Alright, and after I came back to San Francisco, I actually got laid off from my company, and I got a big severance paycheck from it. And part of the thing is I got a few months of break where I didn't really have to work, and yeah, basically had some time to kill. So what I did was I bought some more parts for a Stratocaster, actually not a Stratocaster, a Telecaster Thin Line Deluxe. It was all the parts are from Warmoth, which is a site you can buy guitar parts from, and I ended up just building this guitar myself. And yeah, this was part of the thing I wanted to do at the time, I guess, is just I wanted to do something like this. I had some time on my hands, I didn't have to work, and had some money. So I was like, okay, I'll just go and buy some parts from Warmoth, and I'm going to build my own guitar. So I built this custom, like Telecaster Deluxe Thin Line. So it was a semi-hollow kind of Telecaster Deluxe. In the pickups, I chose a pickup combination that I don't think I've ever seen before, which is a wide range pickup in the neck position and a Filtertron in the bridge position. So I used a Lindy Fralin Twangmaster, which is a wide range, not a like really wide range, not like, you know, not an authentic wide range, but it's a wide range type of pickup in the neck position. And the Filtertron, I used a Lawler pickups Lawlertron in the bridge pickup, which is a really nice pickup too. So yeah, I put these two different kinds of pickups I thought was a really cool combination that I've never seen before in any other guitar. So yeah, part of the reason I wanted to build it was that unique pickup combination. And yeah, I just wanted to do something like this as an engineer. I wanted to like build my own guitar and stuff and hook it up. So yeah, I literally built this guitar from scratch with parts that I bought from Warmoth, and this ended up being my secondary guitar. I think my Fender was still kind of my main guitar, but this ended up being a guitar I played pretty often for about 4 years. So yeah, maybe for my last 2 years in San Francisco, 2017, 2018, and little bit of the time in Vancouver, I think I played this guitar. And yeah, that was it. It was probably a guitar I played a lot of for maybe 3 years. So it's just a custom guitar. I think it ended up falling out of favor because first of all, I changed the neck pickup to a Lawlertron as well later, because I've just found that the Fralin Twangmaster doesn't really match up well with the Lawlertron. So, and I ended up liking the Lawlertron sound a bit better. So I ended up changing the neck pickup from the Lindy Fralin Twangmaster to another Lawler pickups Lawlertron. So they both ended up being Lawlertron pickups later on. Sounded a lot better after that. More matched and everything, and yeah, it's yeah, nice guitar. It's just, I think I ended up just favoring some other guitars later. It just ended up not being as appealing to me, and I think part of the reason is because I kind of messed up with the output jack. Like the output jack, I didn't end up installing it correctly and just didn't look as nice to me. So yeah, that was one thing, and just yeah, found out preferred other guitars later on. But it is a cool project, right? Good experience to build my own guitar, and yeah, and I actually ended up changing out the Lawlertron pickups for Tone Rider Rebel P90s later, Rebel 90s later, in order to sell it easier, because I think the Lawlertrons could sell for higher by themselves. Anyways, yeah, this guitar was one I played a lot of for just 3 years, and then kind of fell out of favor after that, unfortunately. But yeah, I really like the look of this guitar. It was a good experience building it. So then in 2018, right before I left San Francisco actually, I bought the Gretsch White Penguin Parlour acoustic. And the reason for this was, yeah, so I wanted to have a travel guitar at the time because I was going to Korea again, and I wanted to bring something that was, you know, kind of light, easy to travel with, easy to play. And I was looking at some Parlour models because, you know, these are smaller acoustic guitars that should be easier to travel with. So, of course, I still like the White Penguin aesthetic, as I used to own the electric version. So, yeah, I went for the Gretsch White Penguin Parlour model, the Rancher, I guess. The Gretsch Rancher White Penguin Parlour model. So yeah, this guitar is one I still own today, and yeah, I mean, I just like the White Penguin aesthetic. You know, the gold hardware with the white finish. I really like that, and I think I made a mistake with this guitar actually a few years ago. So a few years ago, I changed out the bridge of this guitar for a Graphtec Tusk bridge. Or a saddle, I should say. Yeah, I changed out the saddle for a Graphtec Tusk saddle. When I changed it out, I accidentally ripped out the piezoelectric pickup that was inside of the saddle. So it actually ended up just being acoustic anymore. I couldn't play electric anymore. It was originally acoustic electric, but it ended up just being an acoustic because I accidentally ripped out the piezoelectric pickup. So then just this year, I finally tried to fix this guitar by putting in a Seymour Duncan electric pickup. But yeah, that was a mistake I made when I was upgrading this guitar. I accidentally ripped out the piezo electric pickup on it, and it was originally acoustic electric, but it became acoustic. But now it's acoustic electric again because I put in the Seymour Duncan pickup. And now it's still just a guitar I would use sometimes. I don't use it in a lot of videos because the sound is smaller than the Martin. If I wanted to go like acoustic, if I wanted to play like a full acoustic song, I would use the Martin guitar, right? The OMJM. That just sounds fuller and bigger. And if I want to play electric, I would just obviously use an electric guitar. So this guitar hasn't really found too much use because it's a small acoustic for acoustic songs, and then as an acoustic electric, I'd just rather play electric. But it's still a nice guitar if I want to travel with it, right? If I want to travel, you know, go somewhere on a trip, and I wanted to take one guitar with me, and that's kind of like smaller and lighter and portable, then I would probably take the Gretsch White Penguin. The Rancher Penguin Parlour guitar. So I think that's primarily what this guitar is going to be for, although I don't use it normally that often. Then in 2019, after I came to Vancouver, I bought another Bohemian guitar, and this one was the Boho TNT. So the TNT is a little bit different than the Moonshine I had before. Instead of the Fender single coils, it has P90s, which are more like a fatter sound. But I actually changed out the P90s because I knew that the whatever P90s they put in there is going to be crap. Because the Bohemian guitars, like the oil, it looks cool, right? The oil can and stuff, but they're not very expensive guitars. So yeah, they're not going to put very good pickups inside of it. So I ended up swapping the pickups inside the TNT for a pair of Lawler gold foil pickups, which are really cool looking and also really good sounding too. So you can hear like in the videos, it's just I used this with my Vox MV50 at the time, which is a new tube amplifier. It actually sounds really good, like far better than you would expect a oil can guitar to sound, right? So with the Lawler gold foil pickups, it actually sounds pretty amazing. So yeah, I played this for I think about 2 years, maybe 3 years. It's just I didn't use this guitar that much, and the reason is because of the neck. So I actually really like the way the guitar sounds after I put in the Lawler gold foil pickups, but yeah, the neck wasn't very good because it just wasn't well finished, and I think it's because this guitar is cheap. So Bohemian, like the oil can guitars, they look cool and stuff. They just aren't. Yeah, they're not made very well, and they don't use good components because they're cheap guitars. You can get them for $300, right? So yeah, because of that, they didn't put too much into the production of this guitar. The neck felt pretty cheap feeling, and it just, the edges and stuff like that of the neck wasn't comfortable to play with. It wasn't well finished. So that's why I didn't actually play the Bohemian guitars very much, because of the neck. And I ended up selling it. I actually put in, swapped out the pickups and sold the gold foil pickups separately, and I put in a pair of Tone Rider, I think yeah, I put in a pair of another Tone Rider pickups inside here, another P90s. But yeah, yeah, this is I like the oil can guitars. I mean, I like the way they look. It's just because of how cheap it is, how cheap feeling it is. Yeah, I couldn't I couldn't play it that often, you know. It's cool when I do play it, but yeah, it's not comfortable to play it. That's why I had to get rid of it. Okay, so in early 2020, I bought an Ovation Celebrity Elite acoustic guitar, and this is because I played an Ovation before as my first acoustic guitar, and I just thought the Ovations look really cool. You know, they have a different construction. Most acoustic guitars just have like a sound hole in the middle of the guitar. Ovation does it a bit differently. They have sound holes like kind of in the epaulets, around the shoulders of the guitar. So they just look really cool and different. So that's, and I kind of wanted to go back to the Ovation type sound, I guess, as well. So I guess that's why I want to check out the Ovation again, and it wasn't too expensive or anything. Yeah, this was like beautiful blue color actually. So it's a really nice, beautiful looking guitar. I think I just ended up not really keeping it for very long because it was uncomfortable for me to play, and the reason is because the bowl-shaped, it has a bowl-shaped back, right? This is how Ovation kind of does things. They have like a unique proprietary material that they use, and they have the bowl-shaped back, which kind of digs into my chest a little bit. And maybe it's because I gained some weight or something, I don't know. But it wasn't very comfortable to play because the bowl shape will kind of just dig into my chest. And yeah, I ended up selling it, yeah, not very long afterwards, unfortunately. I mean, it looks good, but it was kind of uncomfortable to play. My first Ovation, I think, didn't have this problem because it wasn't a rounded back, or the back wasn't rounded as much. But this Ovation Celebrity Elite has a very traditional Ovation rounded back shape, so I didn't really like that. It wasn't very comfortable. But yeah, beautiful guitar. I like how it looks, just not very comfortable to play. And then the other guitar I got that year was the Duesenberg Joe Walsh Alliance, which is a guitar I still own. It's a really nice looking guitar, very beautiful. I wanted to get it because, well, I kind of wanted to get another semi-hollow. So I already had a semi-hollow, which was the one I constructed, but I want to get like another different kind of semi-hollow, and plus this guitar reminds me a little bit of the White Penguin or the Gretsch style guitars. I shouldn't say White Penguin. It reminds me of the Gretsch style guitars, but it's not a Gretsch, and it has its own kind of technology and stuff, and it just looks cool. Like, I like the Art Deco styling of it, right? I like that. It has a very unique Art Deco type appearance. I really like how that looked, and I like the semi-hollow, and I like the fact that Joe Walsh version in particular has really unique set of pickups. It has this twin, what is it? It's like a twin single coil in the neck, and it has like a Filtertron type of humbucker in the bridge, like a mini humbucker. So it's just a really cool pickup setup and really cool looking. I mean, that's honestly the main reason I got it. It has a really nice tremolo arm as well. And yeah, very, very easy to play, much lighter than I expected. So I really enjoyed this guitar when I got it, right? It ended up being like as light as a Stratocaster. I didn't imagine it to be that light, but it's actually very light and comfortable to play. The neck is just amazing to play on. So it is a flat neck, but it's like one of those flat necks that it's not like the White Penguin and stuff. It's actually, I feel like it's much easier to play on. So yeah, I ended up really like the Duesenberg. So I still have the guitar today. Play it on some of my videos. So yeah, it's definitely one of the guitars I'll go for. If I need a certain type of jazz tone, I think I would go for this type of guitar. So a lot of my jams, bluesy, jazzy tones, I'd probably go for this guitar. So yeah. Another guitar I got that year was the Martin OM-JM again. This is the second Martin OM-JM. I wanted to get this guitar back because, well, when I sold my Martin OM-JM, I thought in 2019, right, to help pay off my debts and pay for rent, I thought, okay, my Gretsch White Penguin Rancher Parlour acoustic would be good enough, but you know, it's just too small of a guitar to have as much of a tone, and I mean, it's a travel guitar, so it doesn't have the body and tone that the Martin does. So there's something special about the Martin OM-JM that I really missed, and well, it could be just it's a bigger guitar in general, but than the Parlour. But I don't know, just to me, the Gretsch, yeah, the Gretsch Rancher White Penguin is just a suitable, adequate guitar for traveling, and that's it. To be used at home for playing like acoustic songs with a lot of energy and like a lot of energy, reverberation, like presentation, like that kind of tone. Like I want to have a guitar that will give me a more open tone, right? A bigger open tone, and that's what the Martin gives me. I really miss my Martin actually. So after not having my Martin for about a year, I decided to buy another one. And I think I paid a little bit more for this one, and this one is honestly, the neck was reset a little bit, so it's not like a perfect Martin. It's still got issues with it. The neck was literally, I think, glued back in place or whatever. There's an issue with it, so it's not perfect, but it's the only Martin OM-JM I could find at the time that was under $3,000. So for me, I just had to have this guitar again. It was just, I loved my Martin OM-JM, my first one, and I was really sad when I had to sell it. So yeah, I just had to get another one back again. So this is the one I found, and yeah, it turns out the Martin OM-JM, this one is still pretty nice to play. I really like the fact that the neck is easy to play on. I love the projection of this guitar, the tones. It just sounds a lot better to me than the Gretsch White Penguin Parlour does. Yeah, it sounds a lot better to me than the Rancher Penguin Parlour, because it's just a bigger guitar, and it's made with better materials. It's a much more expensive guitar, right? Like, this guitar is, I think, about 5 times as expensive as the Rancher Penguin. So, I mean, yeah, it's Martins are quite a bit more expensive, but yeah, it's a lot better sounding, of course, right? For the price, it should be. But just it also feels a lot more comfortable to me, because I've been playing the Martin OM-JM for such a long time. I just had to have it back. I really regretted selling it, so that's why I had to buy this one back. All right. Then the next guitar is one I bought last year, which was the G&L ASOT Special. The ASOT Special is an interesting guitar model because I think it is the very last guitar design Leo Fender worked on before his death, and really it's his really ultimate expression of the electric guitar. It's like a Telecaster type of body, but it's got the magnetic field design pickup, so it's got the jumbo type though. So it's got a fatter tone. It's kind of like a Jazzmaster pickup with it's the sound I think is similar to a Jazzmaster type pickup, but feels more like brighter than a Jazzmaster pickup though. So yeah, it's more aggressive and brighter sounding than Jazzmaster pickup or a P90, and I really like the tone out of this guitar. And it's just, for me, I felt bad about the fact that I had a G&L tribute, right, as I said, and I didn't give it enough love. I didn't appreciate it for what it was, and I know that G&L for me is everyone thinks about Fender. Fender's a really well-known guitar company, but for me, I think G&L is, when you're talking about the average quality of their products, probably better than Fender. G&L is a much smaller company. They don't make as many guitars as Fender, but all their products are pretty good quality, like on average compared to the average Fender product. I would take the average G&L product. I think G&L products are very well made. Now I think another one you can compare it to is maybe the SARS or even the PRS. Like that's the level of company I think G&L is on. Like, you know, yeah, Fender here, Gibson is actually like higher than Fender, right? It's on average more expensive, but I think Fender probably Epiphone is probably on that level, right? Unless we're talking about Fender Custom Shop. But usually Fender, the lower end Fender probably competes with more of the Epiphone. Higher end Fender competes with Gibsons. But on average, I think I would put Fender one tier, and I would put Suhr, G&L, and PRS in another tier. So these other guitar companies have much, like their quality of the guitars I think are better on average. So I would put G&L a level in the tier above Fender. It's just I didn't know it at the time. I was young, so I just cared more about the brand back then. But now I have a newfound appreciation for G&L as a company. So that's why I decided to get another G&L, this time a USA-made G&L ASOT Special. And it's a beautiful looking guitar, and it really kind of replaced my my parts caster that I made, because my parts caster was kind of the, you know, the same kind of appearance, right? I tried to make it like this Fiesta Cherry Burst color. So this one is another Cherry Burst, so of course I got rid of my parts caster in favor of the G&L ASOT Special, which sounds a lot better than, like, it was a good experience for me to build that parts caster guitar out of Warmoth parts, right? And I learned a lot about soldering, I learned a lot about, you know, putting the parts together and everything, the intonation. So it was a fun project I worked on, right, back in 2017 when I had some time. But I have to admit, I'm not as good as the G&L artisans. I mean, the crafter and luthiers at G&L are better than me. So of course, when I picked up the G&L ASOT Special, that's really the guitar that I wanted my custom guitar to be, right? My custom guitar was a good guitar, but it wasn't up to the craftsmanship of the G&L guitar. And that's why when I got the G&L, it just pretty much straight up replaced my old my guitar that I made myself. It's just, yeah, it's built better. I think the pickups, it's interesting. I mean, I still might prefer the Lollertron pickups, but the ASOT Special magnetic field design pickups, the jumbo version is really special and unique on its own, and it's got a really nice bright tone to it with a Jazzmaster fat sound. So it's got a pretty unique sound to it as well, and the magnetic field design really is unique to G&L. So overall, it's a guitar I still keep, right? Still a very beautiful looking guitar, and really it is the guitar that the one I built should have been. So that's why I have it and replaced that. Another guitar I got that year was a Traveler Guitar Pro. This was kind of like it was just an experiment, I guess. I just wanted to get this guitar to see, oh, this guitar is so light, it's so portable and stuff, you know, just how well, like, how good does it sound? And after playing it for a bit, and you know, it's an acoustic electric hybrid, which is nice, and I played it with some travel amps. I think it was the Yamaha THR-5A I played it with, a travel amp. So I mean, overall it sounds pretty good, and it's not expensive. I think it was like $300 to $400, so it's not that expensive of a guitar, really meant for traveling. But yeah, like I was looking at this guitar and kind of comparing it with my Gretsch Rancher Penguin Parlour, because that's my other travel guitar, and I was like, well, I don't really need two travel guitars. I should only keep one, right? And I still like the appearance of my Gretsch better. I mean, let's be honest. The Gretsch White Penguin, any of the White Penguins look amazing. So the Traveler guitar does not look as good as the White Penguin, even though it's a really nice electric guitar that can do some acoustic tones, and compared to the White Penguin Parlour, which is more of an acoustic guitar that can do electric tones. Yeah, it's just, I like the appearance of the Gretsch better, and even though it's like, the Traveler guitar is a more portable guitar than the White Penguin, but that doesn't really matter too much, because like you have to check it in on a plane, like you have to like put it in some kind of compartment in a separate case anyways. It's not something you can fit in a backpack, right? So I'm just looking at it from that standpoint. It's like, okay, either these, like either Traveler Guitar Pro or the Rancher Penguin, if I'm traveling with them, I have to put them in some sort of gig bag, and I'll have to put them somewhere, right? Either as the Traveler guitar can actually fit in a carry-on compartment. The Rancher Penguin cannot, but it doesn't matter, because when I go traveling and stuff, like it's going to be an extra piece of it's going to be an extra piece of luggage I had to bring anyways. That's separate from my other luggage, so it's either way I have to check in something extra. So in that case, I just decided to keep my Gretsch Penguin Parlour instead, because, well, it looks better to me. And Plus, the thing about the Traveler Guitar Pro and really other related guitars, you can talk about Acoustasonic, you can talk about the Yamaha silent string, 6-string silent guitar, like all these ones I meant for traveling. It's like, to me, like, these are electric guitars that can do acoustic tones, right? But you have to bring an amp with you, otherwise the acoustic tones are not that playable. So with the Gretsch, since it's actually an acoustic guitar that can do electric, I find like if I'm traveling, I probably use the acoustic tones more, right? Like if I'm traveling, I could bring an extra amp with me, like one of those battery powered amps and stuff, and play one of those electric Traveler guitars. But it's maybe easier just to bring like like a parlor acoustic, right? Like the Gretsch, because I don't need an amp for it to sound good. I can just play it acoustically unplugged and it sounds good. I don't need an amp for it. Whereas the other guitars, like the Traveler Guitar Pro, or or the Yamaha silent guitar, or any of the other travel guitars, right? Acoustasonic or something, like you still need an amp. You still need to bring an amp for it to actually sound good. It doesn't sound as good unplugged. So that's an extra piece of equipment to bring. So I'm just deciding to keep my Gretsch White Penguin Parlour, the Rancher Penguin Parlour, because I mean, I want to play unplugged when I travel. I think that's going to be better. So that's why I got rid of the Traveler guitar. I only pick one, I only want to keep like one Traveler guitar. I don't want to have too many guitars. So that's why I end up getting rid of it. Then earlier this year, I bought a Fender Villager 12-string acoustic, acoustic electric actually, and I still have it. The 12 string is interesting. I just wanted to have a 12-string type of sound. I was curious about it. I played some 12 strings before in the past, but I never really owned one. So this was my chance to own a 12-string. So I got 12-string acoustic. It's plays nicely. I played on a few songs, but it's not something I use very often, because the thing about the 12-string, first of all, it's a pain in the ass to change strings and tune a 12-string. Okay, there's just double the amount of strings to change and tune. And second of all, the thing about a 12-string sound is it's very rich and harmonic when you play chords with it. When you're playing single lines, it doesn't sound as good. So that's when I actually I'd rather have a normal 6-string acoustic for it. So if I'm playing like solo lines or just individual little notes, then I think the 6-string acoustic is better. But if I'm playing like a chord, then maybe the 12-string is more richer, fuller. But that's really the only place I would use the 12-string for. So the 12-string is not as versatile. That's what I noticed. That's why I don't see it on as many of my songs. It's just not as versatile of a guitar. Like if I'm playing a song that's just chords, like some pop songs, okay, I can use the 12-string for it. But most other cases, I think just having regular 6-string is more versatile. Because I can play individual notes as well as chords. So that's why I haven't played the Villager as much as I probably should. And the last guitar on this list that I have is the Squier Telecaster Deluxe that I bought, and this was really just for a video. I just wanted to make a video of me changing out some of the parts on this guitar. That was it. I mean, it's a guitar I can just give away as a gift to someone, but I never really had any real intentions of playing this guitar for a lot of videos, because I just have a lot of electric guitars that are, I think, superior, right? Like I have my Fender Stratocaster, I have my Duesenberg, and I have my G&L. So there's no reason for me to play the Squier. I put like GFS metal foil pickups in it just to have something cool and different. But really, it was just for a video of me changing out the parts, and that was really why I bought it. It's just, change out the parts and then sell it as a gift, or give it away as a gift, or sell it, That's pretty much it. Never had any intentions of actually playing the Squier very much. So that's it, guys. That's all my guitar history. Don't know which guitars I'll own in the future, but for now, I think this is what I have. I still have my Fender Stratocaster that I've had since 2009. I still have my Duesenberg that I bought in 2020, the Joe Walsh Alliance. And I still have my G&L ASOS Special I bought last year. Those are my electrics. And then for my acoustics, I have my Martin OMJM that I rebought 2 years ago. And I have the Fender Villager 12-string, which I only use for some songs because it's a 12-string. So it's really only good for chordy songs. So that's why you also don't see it in a lot of videos. But otherwise, you see the other guitars fairly often. The Martin OMJM is everywhere. I've used it in so many videos. Any acoustic video, you see most of my acoustic videos, you see the OMJM there. And the electric videos, I switch. I kind of switch. It's like, what am I feeling like today? Am I feeling like the G&L today for the tone? Am I feeling like the Duesenberg today? Am I feeling like the Fender today? It really depends on what I'm feeling like. Yeah, so those three I kind of alternate between those ones. Depends, right? The Fender has a single coil tone. If I'm for a song that's like needing a lot of chime, like if I'm playing a jam that's like kind of mellow, that needs a lot of like maybe like bright jangly tone or like a mellow tone, I probably go for the Fender, yeah, my Stratocaster, because it's a reasonably low output single coil pickups because they're Fender single coils. So yeah, I mostly use my Fender Stratocaster for songs that need like either a mellow tone or like a low output, type of a bright tone, chimey, that type of tone. So yeah, if there's a song that's kind of like that, obviously John Mayer songs, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Hendrix songs, Stratocaster, that's when I use that. The Duesenberg is mostly used for jazz. So yeah, some type of like jazz stuff I use the Duesenberg for. Also some high output rock tones. You can do some high output rock as well. So I think I used it on some Steve Vai songs before as well. So we can do some high output rock, but also jazz, I think is what I use it for. And then GNL, I can use it for either. I mean, there's some cases where I use it for jazz, I use it for rock, some mellow stuff as well. But it's generally more higher output than my Fender. So yeah, the magnetic field design jumbo pickups, definitely they're hotter than my Fender single coils. So yeah, for higher output songs, I think like rock songs, blues songs, probably the GNL or the Duesenberg. And then for lower output songs, like maybe just like some chill jams, mellow jams and stuff, I'll use my Fenders for. So really, Fender's low output, and then the GNL and the Duesenberg is going to be higher output. So I actually have one more guitar to add to this list, and that is the Lava Music Lava ME2, and I just got this fairly recently. It's a really cool guitar. So basically it's made by a small company, Lava Music, and I didn't know about this guitar until my friend told me about it, and I just looked it up, and it sounded really cool. So they have some higher end models like the Lava ME3, the newer models that just came out actually has like a built-in smartphone type of display, and has like built-in apps and stuff like that. So it's like if you hooked it up to your smartphone and then you have one of those guitar apps, I guess, or amplifier simulation apps that like allow you to have virtual pedals and stuff like that. That's what the ME3 comes with built in. So you don't need to plug into any external pedals or effects. It just has all the effects and stuff just built in, and then you just manipulate it using that I think a custom operating system or something like that, which is really cool. But I don't have that model. That's a higher end, more expensive model. I have the ME2, which is their previous model, and this one's still really good. It comes with a few built-in effects as well. It has built-in reverb, has built-in delay and chorus, and has a built-in like microphone for percussion. So like if you're tapping on the guitar and stuff, like if you create your own percussion effects using the guitar body, it has like a microphone that kind of picks that up and can amplify it. So that's really cool. And it has a built-in amp as well. It's called Free Boost. So that's a cool technology. I was looking for a travel guitar because honestly, my Gretsch Rancher Penguin Parlor, which is usually my travel guitar, right, because it's supposed to be parlor size and stuff, it's actually quite big for a parlor size guitar. So that's one thing about it. And another thing is because I had to custom install my own pickup inside of that guitar, it's really not as portable as it once was. I installed my own Seymour Duncan pickup inside of it because I accidentally ripped out the previous piezo pickup. But now it's not quite as portable, I'd say. So that's why I ended up looking for a new travel guitar that I can play like, and plus it's not that, it's not like super light or anything. It's like 5 pounds, which is, I mean, it's still light for a guitar, but for a travel size guitar, it's not as light as you would expect. So yeah, the Gretsch Rancher White Penguin model, still a little bit bulky, heavy, not that portable, I guess, for what it's supposed to be, right? So I basically want to use it as my travel guitar, and yeah, just something that's really light and I can just bring everywhere for me to play. And I think this Lava ME2 is going to be a lot better for me because it is a lot lighter. I mean, just going by the pounds, it's 3.7 pounds. I mean, it doesn't sound like a big difference between 5 pounds, but it actually is, because if you think about it, like, I mean, it weighs as much as a laptop. I mean, that's how light it is. It's just extremely, extremely light for any kind of guitar. But yeah, just for an acoustic electric, it's very light. It's smaller than the Gretsch Rancher Penguin, and the gig bag is also smaller too. And yeah, it has built-in effects and a built-in amp, which is really cool. So one thing I have to say about the built-in free boost amp, it's really cool technology. It has like a small little speaker built inside the sound hole, but it's not going to be like super loud. So I'd say like just playing unplugged without the amp turned on is fine, and you know, it sounds like basically like its size, you know, a small power lower sized acoustic. But then when you turn on the free boost amp, basically I'd say it sounds about the same as a much bigger acoustic guitar, like a dreadnought sized acoustic guitar. So it basically just makes it sound a lot louder than it actually is, like physically for the size. So it's cool to have that technology, but it's still not going to be as big as like, you know, sounding as if you plugged it into an actual dedicated guitar amp, right? So I still bring like the portable battery powered guitar amp, like the Positive Grid Spark Mini is what I'm using. But if you really want to be heard, you know, outside or yeah, especially if you're playing to like others in a crowd, you definitely need to still plug it into an external amplifier. So yeah, but it's nice to have that free boost amp technology because it makes it sound a lot bigger than it actually is. So that's the usefulness of that technology. And yeah, I would say overall it's very, very playable. I love how the neck feels really, really nice, super playable. Again, it's very light, very portable. I like the blue color as well. And yeah, like in my YouTube video, basically I said if Apple made a guitar, this is probably what it would look like, right? It's very streamlined. You know, doesn't have too many frills on it. Like it doesn't look like it's like super. Doesn't have like, you know, all sorts of crazy finishes or anything like that. So if you get it, especially in the white color, right? If you get it, just a very simplistic looking design, but it's also very modernistic as well, and it adds a lot of technology inside of it. So I think it's a really cool looking guitar, and it plays really nice, it feels nice, and it sounds really nice too. So yeah, I have nothing but good things to say about this guitar. I would not pay full price for it though. So full price, I think it was like $800 or something like that. I paid $600 for it because it was on sale, but I would not pay the full price, I would say. But this at the sale price, $600, I think it's fairly good. So yeah, so this is now my main travel acoustic now. So. And it's electric too, so you could plug it into an amplifier. So it's acoustic electric. It'll be replacing my Gretsch Rancher White Penguin, and yeah, I think it's going to be my main travel guitar from now on. So that's the Lava ME2. So my next guitar after that would be the Supro Hampton. So this is a pretty interesting guitar. I think I got it because the shape was pretty unique. I like the white color. It kind of goes back to my Gretsch White Penguin that I had before. And I like the gold foil pickups on it. It had a pretty unique looking appearance because the shape is just kind of its own like original type of design, I guess. And Supro uses their own like custom pickups, right? So you don't see these kind of gold foil pickups in any other guitar. It really is kind of Supro's own design. So Supro is an American company. They date back to the 1950s actually. They're actually more well known for the amplifiers probably, but yeah, they also made guitars for a while, and they don't make the Hampton anymore. I think I got this. I had to get the second hand because they don't make them brand new anymore. But I just thought it was a really unique aesthetic, and I like gold foil pickups a lot. And you guys noticed, right, when I played my Bohemian TNT that actually swapped out the stock P90s for the gold foils. Because gold foils just look cool, and they sound also really interesting as well. They're like, the sound of gold foil pickups are like somewhere in between, I would say they're like a Dynasonic almost, yeah, like a Dynasonic pickup. So they're stronger than a typical Fender single coil, but at the same time they're not as dark sounding as a P90 single coil. So they're somewhere in between, I guess, a Fender single coil and a P90, but I guess if you want to be more exact, probably more similar to a Gretsch Dynasonic. So yeah, and that's fine because I love Gretsch Dynasonics. They're just they're stronger than a Fender single coil, but they sound they still retain the clarity. They still retain a chime and clarity without sounding dark like a P90. And I don't like P90 sounds because it sounds too dark. It's a little bit too strong in the mid-range. So yeah, that's why I like Gretsch Dynasonics, and also I like gold foil pickups. And I know there's different kinds of gold foil pickups. The Lawler gold foils I got before back then that I put on my Bohemian, that was more like a Tesco pickup. Tesco, like a Japanese maker of student guitars back then, their gold foils are pretty highly regarded. That's what Lawler pickups cloned back then and put in their gold foils. I guess is based on a Tesco pickup. The Supro is a little bit different. I think the Supros are a little bit stronger sounding, a little bit more higher output than the Tesco Lawler pickups, but still, they still have that kind of chimey, kind of clarity, but also strong single coil tone of a gold foil. So I guess you can't really generalize gold foil pickup sounds, but in my opinion, I think you can kind of think of them as, in general, they're going to be like have more clarity than a P90, and they're not going to have as strong of an output as a P90, but still have more clarity, and they're definitely stronger than a typical Fender single coil. So yeah, even though I can't generalize, I can say that most gold foils that I've experienced are like that. So yeah, Supro Hampton. I had this guitar until this year, actually 2024. I had it for about maybe 6 months. I didn't have it that long, and I like it wasn't that it was bad sound or anything. I liked playing it, and it was very playable. The neck was very playable. It wasn't a heavy guitar. It's fairly it was about the same weight as my Strat, I think, and the gold foil pickup sounded pretty decent. I think the only reason I got rid of it is just because I had too many guitars. I didn't want to have that many guitars. I wanted to keep myself to maybe just 6 guitars. Yeah, I didn't want to have too many, and at that time I got another guitar, the Gretsch, and I got another guitar, the Magneto. So yeah, I ended up selling it because I just had too many guitars at that time. Not because the Supro sounded bad or I didn't like it or anything. It just wasn't, let's just say, like, I had to choose a guitar to kind of push out, and that guitar ended up getting pushed out. Yeah, so it's not that it was bad sounding or anything, not that I didn't like it, it's just that I had to choose only a few guitars to keep, and the Supro was the one that ended up getting kicked out. So, yeah, that's what happened to it. So the next guitar after that, chronologically, would be the Magneto Starlux, and this guitar is another one I kind of bought just based on the appearance. Like, first of all, the color, I don't think I've ever owned a guitar that was kind of this, it is a dark gray color, which I find pretty interesting. So it's called actually like midnight gray or something like that. It's or this charcoal gray color. It's this darker gray color that I think it was pretty cool. I didn't own a guitar with that color before, so that was one reason I got it. But another reason I got it is because it's pretty unique. It has kind of a Stratocaster type shape, but also kind of has these Art Deco type elements to it as well. So you see the pickguard has this kind of Art Deco type vibe to it, and I love Art Deco designs. The pickups are these Filtertron looking pickups, but they're not really Filtertrons. They're more like they're more higher output humbuckers. Filtertrons generally are not that high output, so they look like Filtertrons, but they're not actually Filtertrons. They're more like high output humbuckers. I also had this Bigsby type tremolo on it. So yeah, I basically bought this guitar based on its appearance. I had no idea how it sounded because Magneto is a company that's not too well known. Like, it's a French company, and I know that Eric Gales is probably the most prominent user of a Magneto. So yeah, in general, they're not like too famous of a company. I didn't know too many people that were playing Magnetos. Just that, yeah, I like the appearance of this guitar. Seemed to have good specs, and I wanted to give it a shot because, you know, I don't mind trying out like guitars from brands that people don't know about. I just want to, you know, try out some of these more unique brands. Wasn't too expensive, like it was around $1,000, so it wasn't like too expensive. By the way, my Supro guitar, I forgot to mention this, my Supro Hampton was about $800 because it was secondhand, but brand new it would have been like double that price. So I wouldn't have paid double for that Supro because it was Indonesia made. So this Magneto Starlux is crafted in China, but yeah, $1,000. It's not too expensive. I've seen more expensive Chinese made guitars, but it's not the cheapest either, of course. So yeah, it was just kind of in that sweet spot. I would say $1,000 is kind of the sweet spot for an electric guitar. It's not too expensive, but not too cheap either. And it's not too cheap because you want to feel like you spent something on a quality guitar, right? And Magneto seems like it's a company that got good reviews. Their guitars seem to be like, even though they're not that popular, but whoever has owned a Magneto always seem to be praising them pretty highly. So yeah, once I got the Magneto, okay, there's two things I didn't like about the Magneto Starlux. So let's get out of the way. Like I didn't own this guitar for that long. I owned it for like maybe like 3 months, and I didn't really play it that often. And honestly, yeah, it's a bit disappointing. So let's get out of the way what I did like about the Magneto Starlux. So this is not saying anything bad about Magneto as a company. I think the Starlux is a good guitar. Overall, it's got a high quality of fit and finish. Like the frets and everything, like the neck was very playable. No issues with that. It was set up well out of the box. Yeah, it's just everything like works as intended. There's no issues with the actual guitar itself. I think the issue with Magneto for me is just my preferences. So the issue I had with Magneto is the humbucker pickups. First of all, yeah, it didn't sound anything like Filtertrons. It was a very high output, and yeah, I'm not a huge fan of these really high output humbucking pickups. Like, I guess in the only interview I could find online, the Magneto representative said that it was not quite a PAF, but also not quite a Filtertron either. It was somewhere between a Filtertron and a PAF. I don't know, whatever it was, the sound of these, I didn't like the sound of these pickups. And originally I wanted to change them out for Lawler Gold foils or something, or novel foils I guess they would be called. But yeah, in the end, like, it would be easy to swap out the pickups because they're standard humbucker routes, I think. But yeah, I ended up just not dealing with that or bothering with that, because there's another problem with this guitar, which is the weight. This guitar is on the heavier side, and I think it was heavier than any of my other guitars that I owned. So it was heavier than my Duesenberg, heavier than my GNL, heavier than my Strat, and the Supro. So yeah, it was weighing about 8-something pounds, I think. So yeah, that's another issue with this guitar. And plus the fact that I also had a Gretsch and a Supro. So like, basically I had too many guitars. That's my fault for buying too many guitars, but I had too many guitars, I had to get rid of some. And this guitar was heavy as well, so I didn't bother changing out the pickups. And yeah, and with the stock pickups, I didn't really want to play with the stock pickups. So the reason why I don't have too many clips with the Magneto is because I didn't like the sound of it. And yeah, I didn't bother changing out the pickups because I wanted to get rid of it anyways. There, I had too many guitars, and it was too heavy for me. So really, the issue with the Magneto Starlux was just a personal preference thing. It was nothing related to the actual guitar itself. Like, the guitar itself is good. It was set up well, it plays well, neck is fine. Yeah, I mean, some people might like the sound of the pickups. It's just my personal preference. I didn't like the sound of the pickups, and I didn't like the weight. But other people might be fine with it. So nothing on Magneto there. It was just my personal preference. So that's why I ended up getting rid of this guitar pretty fast. Didn't really play it often. But yeah, Magneto Starlux had it for about all of like 3 months maybe. Okay, so the next guitar is the Gretsch Electromatic Center Block Junior. That's a guitar I still have right now. I bought this really almost like a week after I bought the Magneto Starlux, honestly. I know it's an impulse buy thing. I bought the Magneto Starlux based on impulse buy, like, because I like the appearance. And the Gretsch Electromatic Center Block Junior, yeah, kind of the same thing. I also kind of bought it based on the appearance because it looked stunning to me. It's this like Hudson Sky. It's this burst color, and I like bursts, but it's this blue burst, and it's this beautiful quilted maple top, and the price was fine. The price was good. It was like so it also was around $1,000, same as the Starlux. But yeah, to me that's fine price to pay for something that looked like this. It looked a lot better than Magneto, because the Magneto, yeah, it's this charcoal gray color, or this midnight silver color, whatever they called it, but still, it was kind of a solid color, right? It was a good color, but I think I definitely prefer a burst over a solid color. So all my guitars are kind of bursts. My Strat is a sunburst, my Duesenberg's a sunburst, my GNL is a cherry burst. So yeah, all my electric guitars I like is kind of bursts, except for some of the white guitars I had before. But yeah, I generally prefer bursts over solid colors. So I saw this Electromatic Center Block Junior, and I saw that it was this beautiful blue quilted maple top burst finish, and then it had gold hardware on it, and I was like, oh, okay, that's and it wasn't too expensive. It was like $1,000. So I was like, oh, okay, I gotta get this one. And it wasn't too big. The thing with Gretches is sometimes it can be a bit big because they're like semi-hollows. This one, it was a center block junior, right? Not the center block, but center block junior, which means that it's cut down a little bit, it's a bit smaller. So I was like, okay, that's good size for me. I don't want to have too big of a guitar like you see the Gretsch White Falcons, and they're way too big. This one's cut down a bit, so I was like, okay, good size for me, so I got it. And yeah, I think so overall, let's go over. This is a guitar that I have sometimes mixed feelings about. I still have it today, which means I still kind of like it, but there's definitely mixed feelings about it because it's not really my go-to guitar for everything. So what I do like about it is that I really like the appearance of it. It's beautiful. It's got this it's definitely like prettier looking than any other guitar I've seen around, really almost any other guitar I've seen around this price range. Like for $1,000, wow, this beautiful blue quilted maple burst and the gold hardware is a beautiful looking guitar. Gretsch also makes a really like stylish, classy looking guitars. I think just Gretsch guitars in general, I really love the appearance. And this was a lot cheaper than my White Penguin that I had before. The White Penguin is that costs like over $2,000 originally, because that's a made in Japan. That's a high quality Gretsch guitar. This Electromatic line of guitars is kind of Gretsch's more affordable line. But yeah, like the gold hardware, the burst finish, it was beautiful looking. Also, it's pretty light, and I like that about it. Like it's probably actually the lightest out of all my guitars. This thing must weigh like 6-something pounds. Like I think it's lighter than my Strat. It's definitely lighter than my Strat was previously my lightest, I think, but I think it's lighter than my Strat actually. So yeah, it's surprisingly light. Like I expected a guitar like a Gretsch, okay, it's a semi hollow, so I know it's not going to be too heavy, but still, I didn't expect it to be this light. Like, and easily I can just pick it up with one hand, and I really like that about it. I like the fact that it's so light. So those are the things I really like about it. Initially, I didn't like the pickups that much. It was these black top Filtertron pickups or something. So it was kind of their it was kind of their lower end pickups that they put in the Electromatics. I didn't really like the sound of it, so I ended up swapping it out for the TB Jones Paul Yandel Duotrons, and that was difficult. So basically, I overhauled some of the hardware because not all of it was gold, and that kind of pissed me off because I was like, some of the other Electromatic guitars, you have it all in gold hardware. Why not this one? This one you only have a little bit in gold hardware, and then not all of it. So I don't know why they didn't have it all in gold hardware. Like they had like a mix of gold, like the pickup rings were gold and this stuff, but then the other parts of the guitar were still chrome, and that kind of pissed me off. I was like, no, why are you mixing it like that, right? I already have a mixed guitar like that. The Duesenberg Joe Walsh Alliance already has kind of mixed colors like that. I didn't want another one. I wanted to have one with all gold hardware, and then with this blue finish. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to change everything out to gold hardware. So I bought all the gold hardware. It cost me like around $200 total for everything. Like the Bigsby bridge had to be changed to gold. I think that was the most expensive hardware component. Tuners had to be changed to gold. And then the pickups, right? I changed out the pickups for TB Jones Duotrons. So all that was about... Man, that was like $500 in upgrades. So yeah, that took me a long time. That took me like a few days to actually swap that stuff out, because it's not as simple as just swapping out hardware or pickups in a Strat. So a Stratocaster is very easy. You just take off the pick guard. You can change out the components. You put it back in. You can resolder the pickups. Pretty easily just by taking off the pick guard. No, not for this Gretsch. The Gretsch, you gotta because it's you can't just take off the pick guard. I mean, there's no like open cavity where you can kind of do everything. You kind of just you have to kind of push the tone pots and everything like in the pickups through this hole, through this cavity in the body, and you kind of you have to pull it out through like the neck cavity hole, and like, oh my god, it took me like 3 days, I think, 3 days, and maybe like over 10 hours I think it took me to work on this. Oh man, that was tough. I'm never gonna do that again on a Gretsch. Like Gretsch, it's hard to take out the pickups on a Gretsch. Taking out the tone pots and the pickups on this Gretsch guitar, it took me over 10 hours because I had to push them through the cavity hole and push them back out again. And then after I resoldered them, I had to put them back in. I had to use like my screwdriver and kind of like get them to the right spot, push it up, and then, oh my god, that was so painful. But anyways, it's done. I upgraded the pickups on this guitar. Now they sound pretty good. They're TV Jones, right? TV Jones is a pretty widely respected manufacturer of Gretsch style pickups. So yeah, now sounds pretty good. And it's got the gold hardware that I like. So now I like it a lot better than. Now there's still one thing I don't like about this guitar, which is well, it's not like a deal breaker. You know, I still play it from time to time, so it's not like I really dislike it. But okay, so it's a laurel neck. Laurel neck is fine. It's my only guitar with the laurel neck. It looks kind of like rosewood. It's not quite as dark as rosewood, but this neck, it doesn't seem to be too stable. So when I put heavy strings, like when I just restring the guitar, it seems to go out it seems to go like out of the intonation, and I probably had to get it re-intonated because it looks like the neck is bending a lot. So and then you have to adjust the truss rod on this one. I know. So it's the pain for me to adjust the truss rod when I change out the strings, because the neck seems like it's not too stable. Also, it's a little bit chunky. Yeah, I would have preferred it to be a little bit slimmer. And I think this is the biggest difference between this one and the Gretsch Player's Jet, which I'll talk about after this one. Yeah, the main difference is the neck. I mean, this Electromatic center block junior neck, it's a little bit chunky. I would say it's not the fastest neck I can play on. Like the Duesenberg Joe Walsh Alliance. Now that one is a fast neck. That's probably my fastest neck that I play. That's why when you see me doing this Van Halen type shredding stuff, I'm gonna do that on the Duesenberg, because that one has a very fast playing neck. The Gretsch, no, it's not that easy because the neck is a little bit chunky, so it's hard to go fast on that one. Stratocaster, yeah, the Strat neck is okay. It's not as fast as the Duesenberg, but it's definitely, I can go faster on the Strat neck than on the Gretsch. So the Gretsch, yeah, it's more like I play the Gretsch when I'm playing something that's a little bit slower, because I can't go very fast on this neck. It's a very chunky neck. So that would be the only real gripe I have about it. Otherwise, yeah, I love the appearance of the guitar. After I changed out the hardware and pickups, now I like the sound too. I like the weight of the guitar. It's very light. Yeah, the only thing is that neck is a little bit chunky, and I wish I had that Gretsch Player's neck. But anyways, yeah, maybe that's why it wasn't. It's not, you know, it's not one of Gretsch's top of the line guitars, right? It's part of their more affordable line, so I guess I can't be too nitpicky about that. So I guess this is one of the downsides of getting the Electromatic type guitars, is that the neck is a little bit of a downgrade over the top end. Okay, and speaking about the top end, yeah, the Gretsch Player's Jet Midnight Sapphire. So this guitar is kind of like the opposite of the Electromatic Center Block Junior in many ways, right? So yeah, I feel I have like opposite feelings about this guitar. So I bought this because, like, again, because of the appearance. Because yeah, it's got this like dark blue finish, which I really like. At least on the pictures, it was like that, and in the gold hardware. And unlike the Electromatic Center Block Junior, I didn't have to change out any gold hardware on this one, because this one came with all gold hardware. Like everything was gold hardware, so I didn't have nothing had to be swapped out. And unlike the Electromatic Center Block Junior, the pickups on this one were good. I didn't have to change out the pickups because the Tim Shaw designed Broadtron pickups on here were pretty good. Like these are good guitar pickups. It comes stock with nice pickups, so I didn't have to change them out. So those are the things I like about it. So what happened with this guitar is I didn't end up keeping it very long, and I didn't end up using it a lot. And I really like the neck on this as well. This is a very fast playing neck. This is about the same similar neck to the one I have my Duesenberg Joe Walsh Alliance. So it's a very fast playing neck. You can definitely shred on this neck. It's very fast. It's a slim, fast playing neck. So what I do like about this guitar is the neck is very fast, good appearance, and yeah, the stock pickups are pretty good sounding. So you might be asking, well, why didn't I like it? Why didn't I play it very much? So again, it comes down to I thought I spent way too much on guitars. Like at this point, I was like, whoa! I just bought the Supro, and then I bought the Magneto a few months later. Then I bought the Gretsch Electromatic Center Block Junior like a week after I bought the Magneto, and then I bought this Player's Jet like 2 months after I bought the other Gretsch, and I was like, oh, I'm spending way too much. It's kind of like impulse buying, right? That's a bad habit I have. It's just I bought too much, and I had to make a choice, right? So between my Supro, basically the Supro, the Magneto, the Gretsch Electromatic, and the Gretsch Player's Jet. I had to choose just one guitar to keep out of all these. So out of the 4 guitars, I had to keep just one, right? So for me, that's what I had to do, because I felt like I was spending way too much on guitars, and there's not enough room to put them, and especially the Player's Jet, because it costs so much money. The Player's Jet costs like 2,000. Yeah, it cost $2,000. It was like double the price on my Electromatic. So yeah, I ended up getting rid of it just because I felt like it's so expensive. Like, I shouldn't have spent that much on a guitar. I know that's how much I paid for my Gretsch White Penguin before, but still, like, the only guitars, so my most expensive guitars is the Duesenberg Joe Walsh, which I paid $2,200 for, and that's a guitar I really like, so I don't think I would sell that one. And then I have the Martin Ohm JM, which is my main acoustic. That I paid $2,500 for that one, and I'm not going to sell that one because that's been my main acoustic since 2012. So basically, I don't want to have too many expensive guitars. That's too much money invested in that. So especially like in comparison to my amps, I didn't buy that many expensive amps actually. Like, yeah, like I don't think I ever spent like my Milkman 1 Plus was like $1,700, right? And yeah, like I felt kind of bad spending so much on guitars and not enough on my amps and stuff. So I was like, I spent too much on my guitars, so I had to get rid of some. And yeah, out of those 4, I had to pick just one, and it ended up being the Electromatic. And yeah, so here's the reasons why. Okay, first of all, the Supro, like I said, I think the issue with the Supro was just that, like, okay, I like the gold foil pickups, I like the weight and the appearance, but my Electromatic was just, I just like the appearance better in my Electromatic. I mean, it's got this blue burst with this gold hardware, and after I changed out the stock pickups for the Duotrons, yeah, I like the sound of the Gretsch a little bit better than the Supros. So the Supro was gone after that. Sorry, Supro. Yeah, because yeah, the Electromatic, just I like the appearance better after I changed out the hardware, everything like gold hardware, and then the TV Jones pickups, and then yeah, the Supro was gone after that. And then my Magneto, like I said, the reason is, again, I prefer the appearance of my Electromatic over the Magneto. Just this beautiful blue burst and gold hardware. After I changed everything out, it still beat out the Magneto in appearance, and then it was a lot lighter than the Magneto. And I already changed out the pickups on my Electromatic, so I didn't want to change out the pickups on my Magneto too, and it still wouldn't be as good as the Electromatic because it's still heavier and the appearance still isn't as good, if you guys know what I mean. So yeah, so the Magneto was gone after that. So then it came down to the Gretsch Electromatic versus the Player's Jet. Okay, so out of these two, it's kind of opposite in many ways, and it really was a kind of dilemma for me, because, okay, I like the Player's Jet neck a lot. I think that's the thing I like the most about the Player's Jet, is that fast playing neck. Okay, the stock pickups are good, but then I changed out the pickups on my Electromatic, so they're Duotrons. So Duotrons versus Broadtrons on the Player's Jet, I still ended up going with the TV Jones. It's definitely not as high output as the Broadtrons, but I think that's fine. It's got more articulation and clarity to it. I generally don't like high output pickups. I want to have pickups that are either lower or medium output. And the Paul Yandel Duotrons, the TV Jones Duotrons, are like a medium output pickup. They're definitely more output than a single coil, but they're not as high output as a traditional humbucker or PAF. And the Broadtron, the Tim Shaw Broadtrons on the Player's Jet is more like it's more like a higher output pickup. It's like your typical humbucker PAF style. I mean, it's got more clarity than your typical PAF, not as much mid-range, but still, it's higher output. And yeah, I ended up preferring the sound of my TV Jones Duotrons instead. So, I mean, given the fact that I changed out the pickups on my Electromatic, right? Yeah, I still prefer so out of the two, the pickups and the sound, I prefer the sound of Electromatic over the Player's Jet because I changed out the pickups on Electromatic. So unfair advantage, but still, you know, I prefer that sound more. And yeah, the hardware, that's interesting. I mean, the Player's Jet doesn't have a Bigsby, it doesn't have a tremolo, but I think that's okay. I don't actually use the tremolo on my Electromatic that much because it's honestly, Bigsby tremolos are a little bit awkward to use compared to like a Strat tremolo or my Duesenberg tremolo. My Duesenberg tremolo is really nice. That's actually my favorite tremolo, is the Duesenberg one. That's a proprietary design by them. The Strap tremolo is fine, but yeah, the Bigsby is a little bit clunky to use, I think. I don't like using Bigsby tremolos too much, so I only use it sparingly on my Gretsch Electromatic. So it's okay. I think that's kind of like a wash. I don't really care if I have that Bigsby or not. The Player's Jet doesn't have it. Hardware-wise, I changed out the hardware on my Center Block Junior. So originally, the Electromatic did not have gold hardware. Like, it didn't have all gold hardware. It only had like pickups were gold plated, I guess, and it had the gold rings, pickup mounting rings. So it had some gold hardware, but it didn't have all the gold hardware. So I changed it out later for all gold hardware. And the Player's Jet just comes stock with all gold hardware. So in that respect, it's about equal. So then it comes down to which appearance do I like better. So yeah, so I already said the neck. Okay, the neck on the Electromatic Junior is what I don't like about it, because it's a little bit chunky, so it's not a fast playing neck. The neck on the Player's Jet, on the other hand, is a very fast playing slim neck. So I definitely prefer the Player's Jet neck better. It's like my Duesenberg. It plays very, very fast. So it's easier to shred, it's easier to just go faster on that neck. So neck-wise, I definitely prefer the Player's Jet. But then overall appearance-wise, okay. This is actually where I prefer the Electromatic more, because I was actually disappointed with the Player's Jet's appearance. What happened is, it looked like, for the Midnight Sapphire color, I thought it was going to be a dark blue, right? Because I see the images, right, online, and sometimes I see the images, I see the guitar on videos, right? Of course I did some research, right? So I saw how the guitar looked on videos on YouTube, and I saw the images online, and it looked like it's a dark blue. It's like a navy blue. And I guess it's because they were playing in like a nicely lit room, I guess, and you can see light. It's nicely lit, and from natural sunlight, then you can kind of see the dark blue, sparkly, sapphire finish, which is really nice. So if you have natural light coming in, you can see that midnight sapphire appearance, that sparkly, dark blue appearance. So that's good. That's how the guitar is like in real life. But the problem is that if you don't have natural light, if you have artificial lighting, or if a darker place without natural light, it just looks black. It doesn't look blue at all. It doesn't look dark blue. It just looks black. And I don't want to have a guitar that's black. Actually, I don't like to have. Well, it's not that I don't like black guitars, but in this guitar, I didn't want a black color. I wanted a dark blue color. So it's like it only appears dark blue when you have natural lighting. If you have artificial lighting, or if it's a dark room, it just looks black, and that's my issue with the Player's Jet. My Electromatic, on the other hand, it looks fantastic. It looks gorgeous in any lighting. It's just this blue quilted maple burst, and looks fantastic in any lighting. And yeah, natural, artificial lighting, dark rooms, you can clearly see that it's a blue burst. And I think that's what ended up for me favoring the Electromatic Center Block Junior. So I ended up keeping the Electromatic because the appearance, really. That's the main reason. Because everything else is, except for the neck, is kind of like a wash. It's just the appearance of the Electromatic is better, and the neck on the Player's Jet is better. So I was basically choosing, do I want to have the neck of the Player's Jet, or do I want to have the appearance of the Center Block Junior? That's really what I was debating between these two. And I ended up keeping the Electromatic. I was like, no, this guitar just looks so good. I can't possibly get rid of it. It just looks too beautiful. Like, yeah, the Player's Jet, I get, it has a much better neck, much faster playing, slimmer, and the finish is fine. I mean, some people might like this burst, right? This Midnight Sapphire finish. But for me, it just looks too black under a lot of lighting situations. Most of the time, it actually looks black. It doesn't look dark blue at all, and I don't like that. Yeah, so it's just that most of the time, the Midnight Sapphire color, like under most circumstances, it looks black. It doesn't look dark blue at all. It only looks dark blue when you have it directly under natural light, and that's an issue for me. I didn't want to have a guitar that I didn't like the appearance. Even though it's a better playing guitar, it's higher quality, it's made in Japan. Yes, I get that. It's overall a higher quality guitar than Electromatic. Of course, it's Gretsch's top of the line guitars, like Player's Jet. But yeah, I just couldn't deal playing with a guitar I didn't like the appearance of. Like, it just looks black, and I didn't like this black sparkly finish. I wanted a dark blue sparkly finish. Like, like, god damn it, I want a dark blue sparkly finish. Don't give me this black crap, right? So yeah, that's what kind of what I was thinking, and no, I couldn't live with that. Like, no matter how good it played or sounded, if I didn't like the appearance of the guitar, I just can't keep it. So that's why I got rid of the Player's Jet. You don't see me playing it on many videos. I got rid of it just like a few weeks after, because yeah, I just couldn't deal with this black sparkly finish. That's like, I get it's midnight sapphire, okay? It's not like a bright sapphire, but I was expecting at least, you know, it to be looking like a little bit blue, right? Like dark blue. Just give me dark blue, right? And no, it just looks black. And I showed it to my friend, and he says, yeah, it just looks black. So yeah, at that time I was like, oh man, I can't keep this guitar. I don't like the appearance of it. Under most lighting conditions, it just looks black, and that's not what I want. That's not what I paid for this guitar. I paid for a midnight sapphire guitar. I didn't pay for a black guitar, right? So yeah, that's what ended up killing the Player's Jet for me. Even though it had a really nice plain neck. And the Electromatic Center Block Junior, yeah, I just love the appearance of it way much more. Like, it's just a beautiful quilted maple burst, and yeah, even though the neck is kind of chunky and not as fast playing, yeah, it's still good enough for, like, you know, a lot of songs and stuff. So I still play it for a lot of songs. It's just not as fast playing, and that's fine because I have my Duesenberg for that. So if I wanted a faster playing neck, if I wanted to do like more shredding and solos and stuff, I just use my Duesenberg for that. For slower stuff, yeah, that's when I would use the Gretsch Electromatic Junior, or I can pick up my GNL ASAT or my Fender as well, my Fender Strat. So all of those can be doing slower stuff. Actually, the Strat can go pretty fast. I think the GNL ASAT can actually, the neck on it is pretty decent too. Pretty solid neck on that one too. So I think it's just the Electromatic Center Block Junior that has kind of the slower neck, but it's okay. It's a bit fat and chunky, but I'll live with it. I'll live with it because it's just such a dang good-looking guitar, and I can't bear to sell. I can't bear to sell it, especially since I put so many hours changing out the hardware and pickups on it. I put over 10 hours changing out the pickups and hardware, so yeah, I don't want to sell it now. The Takamine TSP-10CS. This is a pretty recent acoustic guitar that I got. And actually, I think this is probably going to be my main acoustic guitar from now on. I know I have my Martin OM-JM and the Lava ME too, but this is a really nice acoustic guitar. I like it because, well, first of all, it's very light, very lightweight, and it's also very thin because it's part of their Thin Line series. It's very well built. It's crafted in Japan. Looks really beautiful. It's got this beautiful black burst on the top, which I think is Sitka spruce. That's just my guessing. And the fretboard, right? You got this beautiful inlays, ebony fretboard. So yeah, everything is like very premium. And while the sound is not quite as deep or as rich or warm as the Martin, but at the same time, it's got its own particular tone, you know. So it's got more high end to it. Sounds more crisp. So yeah, and also it's pretty good for the size, right? Considering it's not like a full-size acoustic guitar in terms of like not being a dreadnought, not being a orchestra model. It's not that deep. It produces kind of an impressive amount of volume for what it is. So yeah, it's not going to be as loud as the Martin. It doesn't have as much volume or the full-bodied type of response as the Martin, or as much, you know, bass as the Martin does. But overall, it still sounds really good for the size. And you know, the electronics are all really good too, because Takamine is well known for their preamp and their electronics as well. So overall, acoustically, this sounds good for the size, for what it is. A lot of high end and brightness to it, and chime. And when you plug it in, then of course, you know, that sounds just as good as any other plugged in acoustic guitar, or better. So yeah, anyways, this is a pretty good guitar. I really like it. So I'll probably be keeping this one for a while. So this is my first Takamine, but really beautiful, well built, sounds really nice for the size. Good electronics. So yeah, I feel like this is a good, almost in between my Martin OM-JM and my Lava ME2. It's kind of like a good in between. It's like, it's as light as the Lava ME2, which is kind of like a travel size guitar, and it produces almost as much, like not as much as the Martin, but you know, definitely more of a full size acoustic sounding guitar. guitar than the Lava ME2. Of course, the Lava ME2 has a built-in speaker as well. But yeah, unplugged, it sounds pretty good. And yeah, I think it's a good in between my Martin and the Lava ME2. But yeah, it's a great acoustic guitar. I just got it this year. Alright, so the Lava ME Air. This is my second Lava guitar. Really, this is, I think of this as a strict upgrade from my Lava ME2. So I do like my Lava ME2, but the ME Air is just an improvement on it, because it pretty much takes the ME2, adds a few new, like, you know, bells and whistles to it. Like you see the lighting on the fretboard and everything. That's a new magnetic pickup that they added. And yeah, the reverb and chorus, that was made a little bit better. And the USB-C charging, that was an improvement over the micro USB, also in a better location on the bottom of the guitar as well. The main improvement of the ME Air, I think, is the thinness of the body. It becomes basically a thin line, kind of similar to my Takamine guitar that I talked about. But yeah, the ME Air basically just thinner body and adds a new magnetic pickup. Some of the effects have been improved, and the USB port was changed to USB-C, which is more forward-thinking than the micro USB that was on the Lava ME2. So overall, yeah, this is my main portable travel guitar now. So I sold my ME2, basically upgraded to the ME Air. So yeah, still it's a great travel guitar, because it can do acoustic, electric, has a built-in like speaker, so it does sound louder than its size, but it's very easy to travel with because the size is very portable and everything. And yeah, it sounds louder than its size because of the built-in speaker. Just a cool looking guitar, very futuristic looking. I just wish that it came in other colors, because it didn't. Like the ME2 came in a lot of different colors. The ME Air only comes in 3 colors, so I got the silver version, which is like, I like silver version. It's not like necessarily the color that is my favorite or anything. It's just that they didn't have that many color selections, so I just went with the silver here, which isn't bad. But it doesn't have the striking blue color that my Lava ME2 did. But yeah, this is pretty much my main portable travel guitar now, because it's not like a full-size guitar. It's like fairly like parlor size, I would say, almost like a 3/4 inch, like quarter size, like 3/4 size, I mean, for acoustic guitar. So it's like a travel size acoustic guitar, almost like a parlor size, but it sounds louder than typical parlor guitar because of the built-in speaker. And yeah, overall it sounds pretty good. It sounds pretty good. It has built-in effects and everything, like the reverb and the chorus. So yeah, pretty satisfied with the Lava ME Air. I think that's a fairly solid upgrade from my Lava ME2. So anyways, that's why I got this one, just an upgrade from my ME2. Okay, the next electric guitar that I got was the Godin, I guess, 5th Avenue Thin Line. So this is a really beautiful looking guitar. Godin is kind of this, it's a Canadian brand of guitars. I think they're fairly overlooked and underrated most of the time. Most people don't talk about them too much, but they make some really lovely looking guitars, all handcrafted in Quebec, Canada. This particular model, I really caught my interest because it uses Canadian wild cherry wood. This beautiful wood that honestly I haven't seen in many other guitars before. So it's Canadian cherry wood, and these Lawler gold foil pickups, which I'm already familiar with since I used them in my Bohemian TNT guitar back then. Yeah, I really like the sound of these pickups as well. So also it's extremely light, and especially given the fact that it's not really like a small guitar or anything. It's not as big as like an arc top, but it's getting close to the arc top size. So this is probably the biggest guitar that I have in terms of how like big it actually looks, but it's extremely light. It's actually the lightest electric guitar that I have, believe it or not. So even though it looks really big, or it looks, you know, bigger than average, it's not that heavy. It's extremely light. It's like 5.5 pounds. So that's significantly like lighter than a Stratocaster even. So very impressive. Yeah, deceptively light guitar, really beautiful looking. The tone of this guitar, you know, from the Lawler gold foils and everything, really good as well. And I just like the appearance. I like the sound, everything, just well crafted. You know, it's made in Canada and everything. Yeah, it's overall great guitar. So yeah, picked this up for about what, $1,600. So yeah, it's not inexpensive, but at the same time, it looks like a custom shop guitar. So I guess it's cheaper than a custom shop guitar. Anyways, the Godin 5th Avenue Thin Line. Okay, so next, electric. hopefully I won't have too many more electrics that I buy after this, but this is the Yamaha RevStar RSP20 Professional in Moonlight Blue. So this is a really beautiful looking guitar. First of all, I got the professional version because it's the only one that has this beautiful moonlight blue color. Also, you know, the other benefits of the Japanese made line is, yeah, it's made in Japan, which means it holds its value longer. It's a little bit, just like, maybe like marginally, everything's like a little bit better finished and polished and everything. You know, Japanese craftsmanship, can't beat that. And yeah, overall, it's a really good guitar in terms of playing feel, like very comfortable to play, very fast neck. So it actually plays very similar. It was actually a similar price to my Gretsch Player's Jet, which I got earlier this year. So the Gretsch Player's Jet was also made in Japan. It was like 2,000 bucks. Very fast playing neck. I just didn't really like the color because it was like, you know, as I said, for the Gretsch Player's Jet section, it was like, wasn't really blue. Like, it was Midnight Sapphire, but it was closer to black than it was to blue, so I didn't really like that. So yeah, that was probably the main issue with it. Actually, I really just didn't like the color. So I wanted something that actually looked blue, right? And this one actually does look blue, which is good. But otherwise, it does play the same or similarly to the Gretsch Player's Jet. So very fast playing neck, very comfortable, nice for soloing or for leads. And yeah, overall, I'm really satisfied with this one. And it cost about $2,000, around the same as the Gretsch Player's Jet. And I actually changed out the pickups because the original Yamaha pickups were a little bit too like modern sounding for me. Like they were high gain, lots of mids and lows without losing clarity. I mean, they're a good pair of pickups. I'm not saying they're bad. They're just not for me because I don't like that modern sound. I want a more vintage type tone. So I got these TV Jones Zoomtron pickups and I put them in. And they sound great. It actually even works better with that mid boost that Yamaha added. So Yamaha added this little like push-pull switch that has this boost circuit. It's like a mid-low boost, and it just pumps up the volume a bit, and it's almost like rolling back the tone control because it adds more mids. I didn't really like it with the Yamaha, with the stock Yamaha humbuckers, but after putting the TV Jones Zoomtron pickups, then it worked a lot better because the Zoomtron pickups are lower output. Well, they're not super low output. They're basically humbucking Dynasonics, which are, I guess, higher output single coils. But still, there's a lot of clarity and dynamics coming from the Zoomtrons to begin with. So after using the mid boost, since the lower output Zoomtrons are already kind of mid scooped, the boost kind of just fills out the frequencies and it sounds a lot more balanced and a lot more full after using the mid boost. So I actually think the mid boost that comes built into the guitar works better with the TV Jones Zoomtron than it does with the stock Yamaha humbuckers. So anyways, beautiful guitar. I love the finish on this one, the Moonlight Blue finish, and very comfortable, fast playing neck. It's on the heavier side. It's actually my heaviest electric guitar. It's around like 7.5 to 8 pounds. I'm not getting anything heavier than 8 pounds because I like light guitars. But yeah, really nice playing though, and feels really nice. And of course, after I upgraded the pickups, now it sounds really good too. So anyways, that's my latest guitar so far, the Yamaha RevStar RSP20 Professional. Yeah, it's just a really nice playing guitar, very beautiful and everything. And after changing out the pickups, now I feel really good about how it sounds too. Alright, so yeah, the Takamine thin line I just talked about, well, it's good for the size and you know, looks really beautiful. I'm not saying it's a bad guitar or anything, but unfortunately the sound just still doesn't compare to the sound of a full-bodied acoustic guitar like the Martin OM-JM, which was I was looking to replace. I was looking to find a replacement for the Martin OM-JM at a lower cost, and unfortunately the thin line, which you can see in the background of this video, yeah, it just doesn't cut it for me. Really like how it looks and everything, but yeah, this sound just doesn't compare still to the sound of a regular full-body acoustic guitar. So that's where I got the Takamine CP7MO thermal top. This guitar definitely looks a lot closer to the Martin, both in terms of dimensions and appearance. It looks more like a traditional acoustic guitar, and it has a special technology, which is actually a torrefied wood top. And how they do it is they bake it in a high heat oven with low oxygen to remove all the moisture from the wood, and that makes the wood, top wood, kind of resonate more, give it more dynamics. It's supposed to make it sound more like a vintage guitar. Martin also has this technology as well on their higher end guitars, but yeah, Takamine has this, and I paid about the same price as I did for the thin line version. So I paid $1,600 US. At kind of a discount. I think the MSRP was over $2,000. But yeah, this looks pretty similar to the Martin OM-JM, I would say, in terms of like appearance and dimension. And the sound, in my opinion, I actually like it a little bit better. However, it's different. I'm not saying that the Martin OM-JM doesn't sound as good. They're just different. And in this video, I think I did a comparison between the two, between the Martin OM-JM and the Takamine CP7MO. I think the main difference is that the Takamine has more of a brighter type of sound still. Like, originally Takamine guitars are brighter, but yeah, it's still like, it's more mellow compared to a typical Takamine with the thermal top technology and everything, like the baked spruce and everything. But yeah, it still doesn't compare to the warmness of a Martin. So they're just different characteristics. But for what it's worth, I felt like the Takamine, this one is really resonant, and I really like it. So yeah, it's got a torified spruce top, which means there's the spruce top, I think it was Sitka spruce. I'm not exactly sure. They don't list exactly the species of spruce, but I'm guessing Sitka spruce. They bake it in a high heat oven, so it becomes torified. And yeah, the special wood that you see here. And it's got, yeah, your typical rosewood fingerboard. Yeah, the thing is, compared to my Martin OM-JM, my Martin OM-JM had an Engelmann spruce top, but it was not torified. But it does sound a lot warmer, just naturally. I think Martins in general sound more warmer. But yeah, this is still a beautiful looking guitar. I think very, very comparable to the Martin in many ways. The back of the guitar is interesting, the sides, because it's actually not rosewood, it's Ovation, which is kind of similar to rosewood, but a little bit brighter. Like this one, you can see that the colors are a little bit brighter than your typical rosewood back and sides. And my Martin OM-JM does have rosewood for the back and sides. So it's an interesting comparison. I think the wood on the Ovation actually looks a little bit more brighter, and actually sounds brighter as well. Like the whole guitar sounds a little bit brighter. So yeah, it doesn't have the warmness of the Martin, but I still like it. I mean, still very resonant, still plays really well, still sounds great. And it's got some, like, you know, some of the gold touches as well. So you see like the tuners and like the strap buttons, that stuff is like gold, so it adds a little bit of a classy touch to this guitar that the Martin didn't have. So yeah, I do like the Takamine CP7MO. I think I'm gonna use this as my main acoustic guitar going forward. Really good. Yeah, and it's less than half the price of the Martin OM-JM. Actually, sorry, MSRP is actually about half the price, but I paid less than half the price for it. So anyways, yeah, I think this is probably going to be my main acoustic guitar going forward. I mean, again, not saying anything bad about the thin line Takamine I talked about before, but yeah, it just didn't have the sound or the volume of a full-bodied, like a full-size acoustic guitar. And yeah, so I decided to get this Takamine instead, and yeah, it just sounds really good. I did compare the two, the Martin OM-JM versus this one, the CP7MO. Both different. I wouldn't say one is better than the other. They're just different sounds. Martin's more warmer, more vintage sounding. Takamine is definitely brighter, but not as bright as the other Takamine guitars. It's still got a little bit of vintage warmth to it because of the torified top. Overall, really like it. Appearance, playability, sound. I think that the CP7MO is, yeah, it's comparable to the Martin OM-JM, but it's like half the cost. So I think I found the guitar I was looking for all along with this one. So yeah, I mean, yeah, you can see the rosette and everything, all the decoration on the Takamine is just as good as the Martin. It's made in Japan, obviously, so just as high craftsmanship as the Martin, which is made in Pennsylvania. But yeah, overall, I'm quite satisfied with this one. So anyways, that's my history of all my guitars, both the acoustic guitars and the electric guitars. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I went through a lot of guitars in this video, so let me know what you guys think. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Any questions about all the guitars, just ask me. Alright, that's it. Thanks for watching.